We have the lecture hosted by Sino-Finnish Education Research Center. So for the Sino-Finnish Education Research Center, we have been long time engaging on research and also comparative studies between China and Finland. But now the Sino-Finnish Education Cooperation, especially higher education cooperation, is largely in the context of EU-China relations. So today we have the honor to have Andrea Střelcová to give us a very insightful lecture on a very timely issue called securing science. This is for understanding EU research security initiatives towards China. So later, I think Andrea will also give some presentation about her experience because I found, she's a very unique expert in the field. So she has been working a lot recently for the commission as expert in various, commissioned work and also taking the advisory role, for example, in the science diplomacy committee of the commission. She's also a PhD student. She's working at Max Planck Institute, but in the meantime, she's also doing PhD in Danbury University. Her research topic is on EU-China higher education cooperation, and she's confident to sharing this topic also because of her previous experience. She before pandemic, some years before pandemic, she worked in China for several years in multiple positions, but mainly for the Commission, for example, EU Access. So it's an agency of the Commission for promoting research collaboration between China and the EU. So she has a rich experience on the topic, but now today she's going to reflect on the very recent policy initiatives. I think I can stop my talking here, and I need to give the floor. So actually, it's a chair. I'm sitting. I need to give the chair to Andrea, so you can start your introduction and speaking.
Thank you. Thank you, Ujwa. And thanks to Sino-Finnish Education Research Center for hosting me here today. So Ujwa already gave a pretty thorough introduction of who I am. So I am a PhD. I'm doing my PhD. I'm writing my PhD. And at the same time, I'm also a higher education administrator and manager and occasionally an expert. So today I will be sharing with you and the slides are, of course, not moving. Now, yes, right? Yeah, good. I will focus today a little bit about introducing EU research policy, especially with regard to recent initiatives and trying to incorporate research and innovation into the European economic security architecture. So this is part of my ongoing research on the topic. Which is my PhD research, which is on EU research policy and practices towards China. But this presentation is not about my ongoing research or presenting my research results. It is rather an overview of the current situation, which to some extent is not only about China, it's about the EU research policy. And China is, of course, a very important partner, but it's not only about China. But nonetheless, I will say a few words about what this means for EU-China cooperation and also what this might mean at the end of the day for universities in Europe. But research security is not country-specific. It's not a China-specific initiatives or movements, but China does play a major role from the European angle. So I am taking the European angle here. But then we can hopefully have a discussion about maybe how the Chinese side views these initiatives, and let's start. So first of all, let's take a quick trip back into the past, about 10 years ago, when the EU And we are talking about, I'm mainly taking the EU level here, but of course it's also the EU consists of the EU consists of member states. So these are, when it comes to research and innovation, really working in unison, because research and innovation is a shared competence. Higher education is a national competence, but research and innovation, because of the framework programs, Horizon, which are called Horizon programs, is a shared competence. It wasn't so long ago when actually the EU, as well as its member states and the countries around the world, were advocating for greater research and innovation cooperation with all countries, including China. And that was also, of course, done out of the EU self-interest, which was, first of all, to integrate EU, so the member states of the EU, into a common research and innovation area, but also because global academic engagement was seen as an indirect way of increasing the EU's diplomatic clout. So, of course, there was a self-interest in this. And the then commissioner, so the sort of EU minister for research and innovation, Carlos Moedas, he coined an approach to this, which was called the triple O, which was really based around the notion of openness, okay? Open science, open innovation, and open to the world. So openness was really the main principle here. And I think he's now, he's Portuguese, I think he's now the mayor of Lisbon. So quite a career. But in research and innovation, this was his main, as a commissioner, this was the contribution there. And at that time, EU and the member states towards China, and also China towards the EU, were really going through a period of growth and expansion of all forms of research and innovation collaboration and science diplomacy initiatives at all levels, between funding agencies, governments, universities, research institutions, and also individual researchers. So it was very vibrant sort of era of experimentation and willingness to do things together. Of course, there were also issues, but these were mainly pertaining to, from the European angle, right, to protection of IP rights, reciprocity, and the perceived lack of academic freedom, especially in social sciences and similar in humanities. But the risks were not emphasized to be on security. So Horizon 2020, which is the main vehicle for research cooperation in Europe, was welcoming third country, meaning non-EU countries, including China, everywhere in all calls. And there were also specific thematic priorities being developed where working with China was incentivized and encouraged. So at that point, very little was actually to be told about security in research. There were, of course, other dialogues in the EU-China dialogue architecture that addressed issues in trade, issues in human rights, but research and innovation was largely aside or immune from these other industrial policy, economic and foreign policy priorities. And it was mainly focusing on opportunities rather than the threats and the risks. So just to give you a little quote from Carlos Moedas, where he coined this triple O approach, when you can really see the focus on excellent science as the foundation of prosperity, openness as the key to excellence, and stressing out we need to engage more in global scientific collaboration to achieve this excellence that will lead to prosperity. But the EU-China relationship, also the relationship between the European member states and China, began to deteriorate roughly from the mid-2010s. And I'm not going to go into the details of why this happened, but let's just sufficient to say that it did happen. And this was finally manifested in a strategy of the EU, which is called the Strategic Outlook on China, which coins China as a partner, competitor, and a rival. So all three at the same time. And in the research and innovation, there came a different strategy that replaced the 3O, the openness strategy, which is called the global approach to research and innovation. And openness is still the core value of this strategy, but it was partially recalibrated and included the values of strategic and reciprocal. The openness stays the key principle, but it's no longer the only key principle. And the key principle starts to be the reciprocal openness. And that also opens the possibility, to limit participation in Horizon in certain strategic fields where not only the participation of Chinese partners was not incentivized, but it was also actually limited. And the whole idea here was to bring actually research and innovation closer to other policies of the EU, namely security and economic security. So the global approach to research and innovation is not China specific. That is just the strategy of the EU, all in all. But it does have really significant repercussions for participation, for cooperation with China, under the sort of catchphrase, as open as possible and as closed as necessary. So we can really see that this is the quote from the current commissioner in charge of research and innovation. And you can really see that the narrative has shifted significantly towards putting a lot of emphasis on risks, security, and vulnerability to foreign interference or influence. Still stressing openness, but at the same time stressing also risks and threats. So there are a host of strategies and initiatives that have come from the EU. And once again, it's not that the EU has come up with this by itself. It was done with the member states, and most of the time proposed by the member states of the EU, to bring that have repercussions also for research, with the overall goal to incorporate research policy in line with other policies of the EU, economic security, security union, defense, and also bearing in mind to incorporating research policy with defense, economic, and green deal or green transition. So that's that is the current situation where we are in. Now, this security turn coincides with the decreasing share of the EU on global science and innovation. And not just the EU, but US and OECD countries in general. And rising weight of the global South, particularly China. So within the previous decade, as we have seen the gradual shift from openness to strategic reciprocal openness, China has become a key player in global science and innovation. In 2018, it was declared the world leading producer of academic articles, pushing out the US also as the source of most cited articles in 2022. It reported the world's second biggest R&D expenditures of 83% of those expended by the US, and the share of R&D on the overall GDP of 2.55, which is matched by some European countries, but by far not all. And I think actually it overtook the EU as a whole in 2014. So already quite a while ago. Science and technology, which is something that I certainly don't need to tell to the Chinese participants, but for the Europeans, I think it often really pays off to stress just how important role it plays in the political economy of China. And if we look at, for example, the 14th five-year plan and the 2035 modernization strategy of China, science and technology occupies, I think, the first 50 pages of this 150 long page. It's really, it's core. It's absolutely core. And with this, of course, comes money and funding. So at the same time, from the European perspective, China has become more important, but at the same time, it has also become very difficult and challenging partner because from the European perspective, it sends very mixed messages. On one hand, supporting research cooperation, but at the same time, increasing centralization of the party state and military-civil fusion, which is, from the European point of view, not acceptable and not in line with the European values. So that has really put a lot of sort of roadblocks into some of existing partnerships, but also in creating of any new partnerships. So maybe just one last point on this, which is something that the European side often forgets, is that actually there is a huge regional diversity inside China. And although there are some central science and technology, it's pretty much anything else is centrally steered. It trickles down to the different government levels, regional, and so on. And actually, there is a lot of diversity and leeway on the regional side inside China. So I always try to stress to the Europeans that never take China as a monolith. It's actually a really complicated beast and very diverse, even today. Right. So this is just a slide from Scopus. So a database just to demonstrate that China's importance, despite everything, the difficulties in the political relationship, is actually rising. So for example, in 2014, this is just on Germany. I am based in Germany, so this is the country I follow the most. In 2014, less than 5% of all German papers in physical sciences, this is not about social science, totally different there, but in physical sciences, had a Chinese co-author. In 2023, it was 11.5%, and China has overtaken the UK as Germany's second biggest collaborator. US, of course, is the biggest. Despite it might seem that, links between institutions and people are, especially after the pandemic, in free fall, so far when it comes to co-authorship data in Scopus, we can't see that quite yet. This just again to show you the yellow part is the number of papers in general that are listed in Scopus from Chinese or people affiliated to Chinese institutions. And you can see the total number of papers only in Scopus, it's of course much more in total, is more than 500,000 papers per year. So you can really see China, publishing more and more. Germany also rising, but not that much. And the total number of co-authored papers between Chinese and Germans or affiliated has also risen, also not that much, to roughly 8,000 papers per year. So it's not insignificant. Of course, this is just one indicator of scientific outputs. There are many others, but it is not a perfect one, but it is an important one. Can I just see what the time is? Okay, excellent. Right. Now, let me just say that international cooperation in science is actually inherently teeming with risks. And it has very high transaction costs, despite the fact that it has become the backbone of global science. Because without international collaborative projects, contemporary science is basically unthinkable, because contemporary science is big science and large research infrastructures and large multinational projects. That is really how things are done. So without this, science of today would be really difficult to do. However, the costs are always high because there are always cultural barriers, language barriers, communication challenges, high administrative costs. I think any of you who have written, for example, Horizon projects, know this firsthand. Sometimes a lot of sunk cost fallacies. You really want to make a project happen with some partners that you want to work with, and you keep investing in it, time, energy, and without just recognizing that what you get back is not as big as you were hoping for. There's different financial and project cycles and different data management regimes, and a lot of really thorough legal complexities, data transfers, intellectual property rights, and export controls, and so on. So really, to make a project happen with China or with other international partners has always been difficult and risky. But now there is a host of other issues, and these are real structural issues that international cooperation in academia will have to take into account more than it has until now. And this, I think, is bringing up some new tensions. Now, again, research security is nothing to do with just the EU or with just China. It's just an approach to protect a research ecosystem in line with national security and economic interests of a country. And the OECD has a good database on policies of various countries, and it lists, I think, about 150 different tools that various countries are using to protect their research security infrastructure. And basically, you can classify them into 5 different big, when it comes to the university level, 5 different brackets: compliance, expert control, security architecture, regulatory framework, and cyber security. So this is about the implementation, these 5 big brackets. And this is something that all universities need to take into account, but at the same time, they may add additional burden on universities and research organizations, because introducing all these measures into place is costly and requires human resources and money, which for some universities might present an issue. So once adopted, we are basically seeing a structural shift where risk management will become an inherent part of international cooperation in Europe, that is. And once adopted into national regulatory frameworks, the implementation of all of this may add additional burden on universities and public research, which some universities might argue is actually going to block innovation rather than unleash it. And I think that we see these tensions playing out in 3 different realms. Number 1 is the tension between autonomy and control. The EU, with the research security measures, is advocating for self-governance of the sector, higher education and research sector, in line with academic freedom and institutional autonomy, which are the core values of Europe and European academia. However, it also imposes more regulations, which blend research with political, economic, and security interests. And that, for some universities, might look like it will actually reduce rather than enhance their autonomy and diminish their capacity for self-governance. So the universities, some of them might find themselves in what one scholar, I forgot the name, calls the autonomy trap, when you think you have the illusion of autonomy, but actually you no longer have the autonomy because the regulatory frameworks have become so complicated that you just cannot decide on your own who you're going to be working with and why. The second tension that I see is the tension between the administrative and academic staff at universities. Typically, academics are the ones who just want to work with whoever is producing the best research. They don't really want to pay too close attention to issues of security. They just want to publish, do research. And it's the administrative side of the universities. And sometimes also what I can see is the leadership that has become very, very cautious. And there might be sometimes a clash between the academics who want to continue working with their Chinese project partners and continue getting students from China, and the leadership of the university, which might be becoming a little bit more cautious. So this is something that, again, we will see in the years to come how this plays out. And the last tension or paradox that I see is that the implementation of all these legally binding initiatives must be consistently applied across the EU, otherwise it doesn't really make too much sense. However, achieving this consistency will be very challenging because of the diversity of academic environments within the Union, because, as I said before, higher education is a national competence. And in some technological fields, which are, of course, the ones that are most relevant to research security, China is primarily pursuing links with the most developed countries in Europe in these fields, which is Netherlands, France, and Germany, followed by Nordic countries. And many institutions in these countries already have research security measures in place, or they are developing them. But countries in Southern Europe, like Italy and Spain, have a really different experiences. And the countries in Central and Eastern Europe, such as the Czech Republic, which is where I'm originally from, face yet another kind of situation because they often lack access to financial and human resources to provide adequate support services to their staff and improve the awareness on risk security compared to Western Europe. So, just to conclude, the European Commission's efforts on enhancing research security address the risks associated with academic engagement. They are not China-specific, but academic engagement with Chinese universities and research institutions does play a major role in formulating and implementing these new measures. The initiatives are supposed to bring research policy closer in line with economic and national security initiatives, and also green transition. And they also aim to coordinate closer the EU member states and bring the EU member states academia closer in considering Europe's economic security and defense. However, the security turn has created some new dilemmas for the universities and public research here, which we will have to monitor and also research on in the years to come to see how this affects co-authorship, how this affects collaboration, and so on. However, what is already clear is that the risk management will be a new normal across Europe. And the EU-China relationship is politically rather tense. And because of some fundamental tensions, this will not be resolved anytime soon. Therefore, this is a very complex situation, which will require a very well-informed approach. I think that cooperation in general and academic engagement is becoming much more strategically managed, also from the European point of view. Maybe this has always been the case in China, but in Europe, not as much. But now we see that it's becoming much more strategically managed, and much more consideration goes into identifying joint interest. So academic cooperation really based on not just some vision, but really trying to specify exactly, if I'm working with China, what exactly am I getting to get out of this, and is it worth it? So the EU doesn't want to work with the Chinese entities. It's not incentivized as much as it was because of some political issues, and also because of some principle and value-based issues, because the EU sees the developments in China going against some of EU values. So we really disagree on how to use this research and technology, and this is really what's creating this new normal. However, I would really like to see European universities and the public research sector to retain their autonomy and academic freedom, and never to reduce China to stereotypes and some kind of naivety. And I hope that the governments and the universities will promote international collaboration while also taking a proportionate and systematic risk management approach to security issues. And that research institutions across Europe will maintain a welcoming, inclusive environment in which freedom of research is respected and people are all treated equally, regardless of their national origin. However, at the same time, we will see that security and risk management will be integrated into organizational processes. So, okay. So I just really sketched very briefly the shift from openness to security, and I outlined briefly what this might mean. And I would like to thank you for your attention here. And all I can do is call for more research, because so far we actually don't know what the implementation will look like and how it will affect ties with Chinese academia. And this is what I am working on. This is what the Sino-Finnish Education Research Center also promotes. So I look forward to the debate right now and further research to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, for your wonderful lecture. So now it's the time for comments and questions. So okay, I can.
I'm just going to get some more tea.
Yeah,
I will be right back.
Probably I can close your slide.
Yeah.
So we can see the audience to better to interact.
Yeah.
Screen sharing. Do we have some questions already?
I can
Yeah, I think let's yeah, I haven't seen anything. Okay, I got that. Thank you for
Yes, thank you so much, Andrea, for this excellent summary. I have a specific question regarding the apparent end of the civil clause in the EU. So I'm sure you know about this recent debate with the EU institutions whether we should support military research as well, quite outspokenly.
Yeah.
And whether there should be also some funding, EU funding for military research. What do you think? How would it change the research environment in cooperations with China?
I think that really depends on how exactly, and correct me, maybe you probably know more about this than me, but as far as I know, these discussions are still ongoing, and it is actually not clear how exactly defense funding will be integrated into EU research funding. So the debate is basically about the next framework program after Horizon Europe, and framework programs have traditionally been strictly civilian research oriented. So the debate on whether and the answer is yes, yes, and how to integrate dual use research and defense funding into the next framework program. But as far as I know, it's not really decided on how exactly this will be, if it will be some kind of separate funding pot, or if some calls will be specifically targeting this, or maybe if there will be a different kind of fund. I think that the EU defense, actually, I think that there already is some research funding going into, but this is not part of the Horizon. It's a different funding initiatives, because there's not just Horizon Europe. There are many other agencies of the EU that also fund research, and I think at least one of them does fund defense research, but not the Horizon. But supposing that it will happen, because I do think that it will happen. I do think that the next framework program will open for military applications. We just don't know how, but it will. I do think that it will happen. And you are absolutely correct that the implications specifically to China, but not just with China, but specifically to China, might be large, but it will really depend on how exactly this will be done. You know, if, for example, military partners, like project partners, will be, whether there will be some specific calls for them, like specific research priorities for them, thematic priorities or missions, or whether simply the entire framework program will open up. And I think that this modality of how exactly it will happen, this will influence the further cooperation with Chinese. with Chinese project partners. But anyway, I mean, Horizon is not funding, it's not giving any money to participants from mainland China.
Yeah.
It's just, it's an access to the project consortium. And I think that even without the defense arm, it's becoming a little bit difficult for me personally. It's becoming a little bit difficult to see what the Chinese have to gain from participating in. Sometimes I have to say I find it a little bit difficult to see, because it's not only disincentivized, but also, I mean, it depends on the project goal, of course, but also the regulations and all the administration that you need to do that is related to Horizon calls is immense.
Yeah.
And when it comes to ethics and when it comes to data management, and especially the data transfers are, as you know best, incredibly difficult to hash out when you work with Chinese project partners, because the legislation on both sides has evolved immensely. And sometimes the EU project partners, they know what they need to do when it comes to data transfers in the EU, in their own institution, but they have no idea what the situation is in China and the other way around. So, and when it comes to really large, and we're talking large data sets, so that is, I think, what hinders even more than the future potential inclusion of defense funding into the framework programs.
Okay, thanks. Perfect. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yes. Yeah, Rowan?
Closer to the screen. We have the...
Thank you. So thanks for a great presentation. You mentioned reciprocity as one of the 3 new terms that define, I guess, European policy here as well. And I know that you've done great research and on European researchers based in China. I wondered if you could expand a little bit more on reciprocity and what the prospects there could be, how that debate is unfolding, and also, I guess, what we can expect to happen in China in this space.
Okay, so I will outline what I know. But again, this is rather humbling because I think you know more than me. But I see when it comes to the people, the reciprocity issue, or the perceived reciprocity issue from the European side was always the imbalance of the exchange of people. So way more Chinese students and researchers coming into the EU rather than the other way around. And relatively small numbers of researchers from EU countries being in China, and also the numbers of students. Also, when it comes to the fields, because European researchers in China, they often go to China because they want to study something about China. So they're often social scientists or have some kind of component. Of course, not anymore. That's no longer only the case because China has become rather attractive for natural scientists for many reasons, but the Chinese who are coming to Europe are traditionally more orienting towards the technological fields and natural sciences. So there's also naturally perhaps not a match over there. And of course, this has become even more grave during COVID because China, because of the strict entry policies, has effectively expelled a lot of its foreign population. So basically, the reciprocity issue from the European angle is number one when it comes to people, because Europe is much more welcoming to Chinese researchers and students rather than the other way around. So the people mobility, and number two, the funding, because and the reciprocity issue has really been there since the beginning, I would say, because the EU, when it started to work with China with the framework programs, actually was funding Chinese researchers directly, because actually research and academic collaboration was part of development policy. It's not such a long time ago. I think Chinese entities were stopped getting money as developing countries only in 2014, only 10 years ago. Until 2014, China was seen as a developing country, and academic collaboration was often, not always, but it was tied to development policy. So China has grown so much and so fast, and has invested so much money into research and innovation that the European policymakers started to wonder, first of all, why should they obviously fund Chinese participants, but also why the Chinese wouldn't bring their own money to the table. This is where the whole policy debate about the co-funding mechanism came from, so that in Horizon 2020 or Horizon project, when there is a Chinese project partner, they apply simultaneously to the EU and simultaneously to the Chinese Ministry of Science and Technology, so that they can get their own funding from the Chinese side. So when it comes to the access to the funding, some of this reciprocity issue was resolved through this co-funding mechanism, but some of them stayed because the European side perceives Chinese funding in general as simply opaque and closed off to foreign participation. So I know that this is part of the policy debate for sure, but I have to be honest with you that I don't know where the current state of the debate is. So I see these two reciprocity. When it comes to research and innovation, we're not talking trade, but access to innovation, access to research funding, programs, and sort of unequal, imbalanced mobility of students and researchers. Yeah. But maybe you know more. You tell me if my information is incomplete, which is very possible.
No. That's great. I'm also wondering about, I guess, the experience of European researchers who actually go to China, and some of them, to what extent that's a success. But maybe that's I don't want to dominate the discussion.
That's a good question. I think that so overall there is about, we don't know, as far as I know, because it's always difficult to collect stats because there's the diversity between the member states, and the way they collect things is also not the same across the EU. But I think that before the pandemic, the numbers roughly said that there were about 10,000 foreign academics in China and maybe 1,000 Europeans. And that was before the pandemic. And then I think roughly one third, didn't make it through the pandemic. Some of them came back, some of them left, some new people came. So the population is really small. I think that only in Germany there's about 4,000 Chinese researchers working only in Germany. And of course, there are success stories. Chinese academic environment has, it provides great infrastructure, state-of-the-art labs when it comes to certain research fields. It's a very dynamic, fast-paced environment. So when it comes to certain fields of research, that might be attractive for some people, but the academic environment is also, I think, just over the long run, not the most welcoming and inclusive to foreign academics. So I think that, at least according to my research, the European academics who make their careers in China, they ultimately use it as a stepping stone to advance their career back in Europe or somewhere else. But again, maybe this will change. Yeah.
Good discussion, quite comprehensive. We have still
oh wow, we've got two hands.
2 hands. So we have
oh my God.
Also. Can we first take those online, and then you are in a rush?
actually in Blush.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Please.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. You can.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and also for your insightful and excellent lecture. I think I have several questions, but I will two. The first one is I was wondering, about the role of the EU research policy at the level of member states. What does it mean for member state? It's more like a soft regulation as a recommendation, so the member state can decide to what extent to they follow, or the other route. And then another thing that more specific when you talk about the co-authorship between Germany and China in certain discipline. What are your criteria of counting the co-authorship? So by nationality or by affiliation? If by nationality, do you also include the Hong Kongese researchers, or only the researchers are regional from?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first, the easy one, the co-authorship is by affiliation. So in the Scopus database, yes. So it's affiliation. So of course there are some foreign scholars with American passports or whatever European, Indian, or no, maybe not Indian, but Pakistani passports who work for Chinese universities. So they would be reflected as Chinese publications. And the other way around. So Germany has a large proportion of foreign academics, so they count as German. So it's by affiliation. And about the role of the member state, that is an excellent question. So I really see it as a two-way kind of interaction, because usually when something makes its way into the EU level, it has been proposed and already tackled on the member state level. So the EU doesn't, in my point of view, in my research, doesn't actually drive top-down research policy. It's the member states who do it. And of course, some member states are more active than others, right? Of course, when it comes to research and innovation, it's the Western European countries who are also much more successful in getting funding from the EU research pots and so on. So, usually there are some active member states that are already tackling, like such as the research security. I mean, it is a huge thing already in motion, in Netherlands or Germany, and then it makes its way into some recommendations or a proposal. But ultimately, if that is because what we saw now with the recent research security initiative that came out in January, it was called a proposal for a council recommendation. So they're proposing a council recommendation. When this becomes a council recommendation, it will trickle down to the member states sooner or later into their national regulatory frameworks. But the implementation is uneven and doesn't happen in the same speed and in the same force, because, as I said, some member states have already tackled this, and some of them have not, and then they are, followers rather than leaders.
Thank you for your question. But now we can go to our online participants. Svetlana.
Thank you, Andrea, for your great presentation and insights appeared from your deep understanding and systematic knowledge of the field of EU-China research cooperation. So it is very important for me as a researcher who focused more on EU cooperation with other countries in the field of internationalization of higher education. So my question is really could be explained by the background of the study field, the internationalization of higher education. And I have two questions related to policy drivers, or I would say geopolitical drivers. And my second question is related to the university governance or decision-making processes and challenges for them related to security issues and appeared at the university or institutional level. So as to the geopolitical drivers, might it be correct to assume that 3O policy of the EU in relation to China, from which you have started your presentation, was a kind of EU answer on the annexation of Crimea by Russia, and then the EU closed the strategic partnership with Russia and then announced 3O policy to China. Might it be correct to assume this link?
Yeah.
And the second question is at the institutional level, the security risks are a matter of competence between the academics and those who are responsible for security issues by their duties. So might it be possible to assume that there is a tension or even an attempt to move the responsibility for security issues from the shoulders of those who are responsible for them by their duties to the shoulders of ordinary academics who are not an experts in the field, who may do not know what does it mean to be the party member, so to have this or that link. So those who do not know the context, but are able to evaluate the potential research output of cooperation. So policy drivers and who should be responsible for security risk management. Thank you.
Briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. Super good point. And thanks for raising this up. Very interesting point also about the 2014 Crimea / openness. Really interesting comparison. Absolutely true. But there is difference between economic sanctions and academic sanctions, or, economic sanctions at that point had nothing to do with research policy. But that's exactly my point, that actually I think that now we will, see a much closer integration. We already see that, right? Because with Russia invasion to Ukraine, all institutional cooperation with Russia was immediately cut, or almost all. So we've seen that happen. And for your second point, I completely agree. If you have such security risk management measures in place at universities, who is going to be liable? Who is going to be responsible if these are violated, right? And we've seen some really interesting cases, which I find actually really sometimes very disturbing, when individual academics are held accountable for things that they did sometimes 10 years ago, when the overall environment was really completely different and cooperation was incentivized. They were incentivized to do that. And now people are shaming them for something that, that was completely legitimate, and not just legitimate, but it was actually incentivized. So who is going to be liable, right, for that? And I really hope that, because individual academics, they're doing their research, this is their job. And can we really ask them to also be fully responsible and able to reflect on issues of national security? Actually, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's a good thing that we are moving in this direction, that people have some awareness. What implications could my research have? What kind of partners am I working with? Do some basic due diligence. I think that is a good thing. But ultimately,
they are not paid for this. This is time-consuming thing. They are not paid for this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant. That this is the tension that we might be seeing, because there is the administration you know, and positions that will be there in the administrations created to check on whatever safety, and versus the academics who sometimes, not all of them, but some of them have a different motivation in mind.
Thank you, Andrea, very much.
Yeah. So we probably have some questions on the chat box.
Yeah, it's just about the students. Yeah. So just about Germany, the stats are quite good. I think Agota has mentioned it in the chat. They're just in the Wissenschaftswelt offen of the DAAD. So I think that this is actually a really good conversation. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to follow up on it super closely, but I can see the numbers are there. So I will check it later.
Yeah, so any quick question at this moment? I saw Walko raised her hands for a moment. Left, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's yeah, but thank you. So perfect. So we are almost, done just in 1 minute. So so thank you so much, Andrea.
Really weird and disturbing to look at our.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, you can sit here.
Yeah.
Very magical image behind us. Yeah, so this
Thank
is
you so much. Bye.
yeah, so this is a very excellent lecture. Thank you very much. I also appreciate all the audience participation, and hopefully, we will create this kind of, community for discussion. So we have a lot of challenges, but it's very important to be open, at least in sharing the understandings. So once again, and thank you, Andrea, and also thank you for the participants. Also, thank you for Yulia for organizing. You're always sitting behind us to manage all the online sessions. Okay, then see you next time. We are very interesting back and forth.
Thank you. Bye.